welcome to the latest episode of The Rewind, where we rewind the latest in entertainment and pop culture news. Thank you for joining us this week. I'm Eddie.
And I'm Tammy.
And as usual, there's so much to get to on this episode. What starts off as a slow week, all of a sudden it just speeds up and the news gods hit you all at once, Tammy. Starting off with some quick pop follow-ups. Dave Chappelle, he agreed to meet with some of the members of the LGBTQ community over over his show and the whole scandal that broke out about that. But he said he will not bend to anyone's, I forgot what he said, demands. Yeah. And then, of course, he gets support from Caitlyn Jenner. So I don't know if that helps his cause or hurts his cause, or I don't know. On one hand, yes, she is a trans woman. But on the other hand, it's Caitlyn Jenner. Does that make sense?
It does. It does. I don't think it helps his cause, because the real situation is how his comments affect the Black trans community, seen as how they are the ones most affected by the violence to the trans community. So why would you be willing to meet them if you aren't really going to go there to actually listen and hopefully change your mindset of or viewpoint of the trans community and what they go through on a daily basis? And then that's a waste of your time and a waste of their time.
I agree. And again, it's not really and I guess, again, it goes back to, that's where my whole problem with this is. Not defending Dave Chappelle, although I feel like in a way I am, but there was a murder of a Black trans woman in Miami shortly about, I guess, after we wrapped the last episode of The Rewind. And of course, you have the performative outrage about see Netflix, see what you've done. And I guess it was also something that I pointed out then. This has been happening, but they tried to use it as a point to pound home. But you haven't heard anything about that since. And then people who were leading the walkout at Netflix, they were like, well, ultimately, it's not about Dave Chappelle. We don't want his show taken down. We want you to start a fund and give more access to creatives and talent, transgender talent, which I'm okay with. So it seems like a lot of messages are being muddled in this whole thing. So ultimately, I hope it gets resolved. I hope it gets resolved for the better, but I'm with you. More attention needs to be paid to what is happening to Black trans women, and not just on a performative basis when it suits someone's, I guess, when someone needs to make a point about the horrors that trans women face. So I guess that's where my outrage still lies in all of this, but we'll see what happens. Moving on to I don't even want to say his name, but someone is doing something on Fox News that says that you're like, I have to.
Let's move on to actual entertainment rather than the nonsense over there.
Okay, but this is leading into something, so let me just get this out. You don't even have to comment on it. That January 6th was a false flag event, which goes into the other thing that, and how it's on this big platform of that new, I hate even calling it news, of that fake news channel. Which goes into, have you heard that one of the other biggest platforms for fake news is rebranding itself, and it's going Meta.
It's still Facebook.
How did you know that's what I was talking about? Like, how did you?
I keep up on the news every once in a while.
But the way you said it was pretty much like the reaction of everyone. It's like, it's still the same name. And not only that, you're changing the corporate name or trying to rebrand the corporate name. But what else is changing? Like your flagship platform is still keeping its name. are you changing any of the practices? Like every time a new leak comes out or a new leak is exposed, it's like it's worse and it's worse and it's worse. And it's like you peel away the layers on the onion and you hope to get to the root cause of the stink, but it's just so much there that you can't. Yeah, so it's still Facebook, but and then of course leave it to a narcissist to choose the name Meta to rebrand your company and think that you're doing something great, but you're not stepping down. Nothing is really changing. So I'm with you. At the end of the day, it's still Facebook.
If I was Mark Zuckerberg, I wouldn't change anything about my company either. Why? He makes millions of dollars every day based on this. It's just like Rupert Murdoch. Is it Rupert Murdoch?
Who owns that place that we won't name? Yeah.
But he owns more. He owns more than that. But Fox News is part of his media empire. And he refuses, although like technically his family does not agree with the ideas and the beliefs of Fox News, it makes him millions of dollars every year. So if it's making you all this money, perpetuating these false ideas, and at the end of the day, you're going to look at it as I'm just a businessman, I wouldn't change my concept either, because ain't nobody truly turning their back on Facebook. You got some people that have gotten off of Facebook, but they still on Instagram. Instagram and Facebook is the same company. So I'm sorry, like I don't agree with him, but if I was Mark Zuckerberg and I was just being a businessman and just to make money, I wouldn't change anything about Facebook either.
But even if you know what your company is doing is killing people, spreading
Fox News does the same thing.
And that is true, and I have issues with that too, and especially with that whole stupid. I want to call it a mockumentary because it's got to be a joke, but
you got to look at it as in making money. Does Fox News still make Rupert Murdoch a lot of money? Yes, it does. Does Facebook still make Mark Zuckerberg a lot of money? Yes, it does. So the positive of them making a lot of money outweighs the negative. So yeah, if they want to give a part of their soul in order to continue to be as rich as they are, yeah, they're going to continue to run their company the way that they run it.
Well, the difference between these two to me is, and you're absolutely right about the whole drawing the line between Facebook and Instagram, especially. And that was one of the things that when Facebook brought out Instagram, I was just like, shit. Because I'm one of those people who I still have Facebook. I still have the account, but I rarely, if ever, never go on there. And it's just one of those things you got to reconcile, I guess. And of course, obviously, we use Instagram to help promote the blog and the podcast and all of that. But Fox Faux News has the title of news behind it, and that I think to me that is what is most disconcerting about whatever it is that they're doing over there. And many people said it is not news and that they should change the name from or take the news out of their title. Because with that, you're supposed to have some idea or some semblance of the truth. Facebook is a little differently because it's a little different because it started off as a social media company and it doesn't purport itself to be news. But when they know, to me, the responsibility comes into them when they know that they are maliciously and purposely spreading lies. Like one of their employees started a fake account to see how the algorithm worked. And all they put on there is that they were a Christian woman who was a conservative. And they followed, I think, Trump, and they followed Fox News. And then they started getting all of these suggestions to follow QAnon and all these conspiracy theory sites and profiles. And even though they never clicked on them, they just kept being inundated with all of that. So when you know something like that is wrong with your algorithm, then yes, I think you do have a responsibility to fix that. But if that person or that account would have clicked on that and would have chosen to follow that, then that's one thing. But to purposely try to inundate people with that, I think he does. And you're not right. The saying, what good does it do a man to gain the world if he loses his soul? So money isn't evil. I guess it's just the love of money above all else that is evil. But yeah, so I've said it before and I will continue to say it. Mark Zuckerberg and Facebook are the devil. Um, any other comments on that?
No.
You're like, no. What else is going on? Oh, another follow up. The former governor of New York State, Andrew Cuomo, is being charged with a misdemeanor sex crime, and he could face prison time. Although I doubt it because he's never been convicted. He's not. He doesn't have a record. So if they follow through with the case, then he'll probably get probation, I guess. And Letitia James, the Attorney General, whose investigation doomed his political career, she announced that she's running for governor. So, and we'll see if she wins that race. That should be interesting to see what happens with that. You're mighty quiet today.
I don't have a comment on that whole thing. I mean, Andrew Cuomo is Andrew Cuomo, and Letitia James, let's see how that turns out, seeing as how she's running after convicting the current governor. So
yeah, we'll see. The NFL, I know you probably don't have a comment on this one, but they dropped their race norming payment or concussion payouts. Basically, they would pay black players who filed lawsuit or who joined the lawsuit less than the white players for the same injuries because something about eugenics and black brains and all of that shit. The racist algorithm that they were using to determine that bullshit. So again, the NFL and its issues, its myriad of issues. But getting into new stuff, I know were you ever a Lori Loughlin fan?
No. Full House, yes. Actual actress, no.
So you didn't keep up with her career really after. Well, what did she do besides those Hallmark movies and stuff? I don't even
feel
know.
like she's been on a primetime show, but I don't remember. But I mean, she married a rich man, so she ain't really had to work anyway.
Yeah, and I think she did some Hallmark series that she got booted from when she got caught up in that scandal. Well, anyway, she's making her return to TV, and I believe it's back to Hallmark, isn't it?
I think so. I think the show is on Hallmark. Yes.
Yeah, so she's returning to TV after serving her time. And she's also she's also paid the full 4-year tuition or full tuition for 2 kids to attend college, to a 4-year college. And I guess, she feels like that's restitution for not actually paying for her own 2 children to attend college. So, I don't have an opinion about that one way or the other. Yeah, she served her time. She has. Everybody deserves a second chance. Question mark, question mark, question mark, dot, dot, dot.
Only people who actually understand what they did and are repentant of their actions. And I do not feel that Lori Loughlin has really understood what she did wrong. She's just mad at the fact that she got caught.
I think that's why I'm so ambivalent about it, because I can't say I disagree with that. Like, there's nothing that, has she ever made a statement about it, or like in the statements that I've heard, the little bit that's been said, or it has been more or less, like you said, more aiming at the lines that she's sorry she got caught, and she didn't at the time understand why this was so wrong. And then I don't even think she got to serve her full sentence, or she served part of it because of COVID, and so we'll see. I know it was hard because they got kicked out of their country club or something. Sarcasm, air quotes, all of that. Yeah. But and as I tell people, sometimes certain people are just destined to fail up in life no matter what they do. Speaking of comebacks and a million, bajillion, 50, 11,000 Infinite Chances. Um, have you heard about the John Wick spinoff?
Um, with the hotel, right?
Yeah, the Continental, that was based on a Continental hotel, and all of its mysteries. And I was kind of excited and interested to see how they were going to do that until I heard who was top lining the series.
And who would that be?
Mel Gibson.
Is it wrong if I say I still am going to watch it?
No, not at all. It's not. It's not. Because I can't honestly say that I wouldn't watch an episode just to see. But again, why do they keep giving this man chance after chance after chance?
Because he is a media genius.
Explain. I'm interested to hear your take on that.
He's a really good director. He makes really, really good films. Personally, he's a very controversial person. He has a lot of issues. He has been accused of domestic violence, abuse, verbal, emotional, all of that. But at the end of the day, it's kind of like with all the other men who have gotten away with stuff and been able to come back over and over again, is that he makes good movies.
So does that excuse everything?
It never excuses anything, but that doesn't take away from the fact of that we have very, very short attention spans, and we're very, very forgiven because of the talent that the person has rather than who they are as a person.
So we're going to forget besides the domestic abuse, we're going to forget the misogyny, the racism, the homophobia, um, the anti-Semitism, all of
I'm
that.
sure there's people who don't support him anymore, but as a whole, is Hollywood not anti-Semitic and racist and misogynistic and all that other stuff? We can't be naive about Hollywood and what Hollywood is willing to forgive and brush under the rug and ignore as long as they're not called out. He continues to lose fans. He's not as big as he used to be. That is the reason why he has not fully been, there. He's never been able to fully make a comeback to the level that he was at before all this stuff came out. But at the end of the day, no, his career is not dead. And that is how Hollywood works. Like, I'm very cynical about it. So that's how Hollywood works. And I don't expect that it's going to change.
I'm not naive about it. But it just comes to a point when enough is enough, because again, if this was maybe the first time or the second time, okay, maybe I could understand that. Like I just said, I'm not going to be a hypocrite. Everyone deserves a second chance, but this is beyond his second chance. And every time you start to think, oh, and it's like you said with Lori Loughlin, every time you start to think he understands, like, and these aren't things that just popped up as he's gotten older. It's not, oh, he's become this crazy, batshit crazy old man. There's always been this rumors surrounding Mel Gibson, even when he was younger, at the height of his career, especially the anti-Semitism and some of the misogyny and all of that stuff. So it's always been there. So it seems like people have always excused it for what you said, the talent and all of that, and no one can deny the talent. But I guess my thing is this: how long before the other shoe drops? How long before he does something that poisons this project? And so I guess, is it like, is he truly the best was he truly the best person for this job? Like, and that's the question I have, because it's just one of those things where it's like, yeah, but how long is it going to last? Like, how long before he does something to doom the project? Because it's coming. Like, I just know that it's coming. But yes, the curiosity in me, my love of John Wick has me on the fence about whether or not to support this project. Because like I said, once I heard it was being greenlit, I was really interested, because the hotel, even though it is a thing, it's played such a big role in the entire series. And it's just like, especially when you find out there are continental hotels all throughout the world, and how their role in the series. So I think it's going to be a very interesting series, but I just can't say. I would really love to talk to the producers or know what made Mel Gibson the best person to top line this series, especially given his toxic history. And were there any guarantees that he wasn't going to Gibson it up? Yes, I just turned him into a verb because that's what he tends to do as of late, whenever he has been given these infinite chances. And also going back to the whole racism, would an actor of color get these being accused of the same things, get these infinite chances to continue to not show remorse for their horrible actions?
You want me to give you a perfect example?
Sure.
R. Kelly.
Oh God.
You want me to give you another perfect example?
Yeah.
Bill Cosby.
Are they the rule or they the exceptions?
Huh? Oh, I'm not.
They...
Oh no. You said. I am just giving you an example that you asked for.
You are.
I don't, because I understand completely, and I understand completely what you're saying, and I am not a supporter of Mel Gibson. I think it is horrible that they have casted him. I think it's horrible that they continue to every couple years bring him back into the limelight, like he's trying to rejuvenate his career. But at the same time, like, R. Kelly did it for years.
That is so true, and again, that is so true, and like
it is the exception. Like those two men that I named, they are the exception, right? Because majority of the time, no, that would not be the case. But you just asked for one, so I just thought I'd throw it out there.
And I know, but and you know what? You just Weinstein me, but Harvey Weinstein.
Yeah, exactly. But I fully get it. I understand what you're trying to say. I just think that every couple years, it's not every year, but every couple years he tries to make a comeback. And I think what they do is what I said, that they ignore his personal issues and drama in order to focus on the talent that he brings to the table. And as long as people continue to go watch, or there is going to continue to be a thing. Now the crazy thing is that Keanu Reeves made this series a big deal, and I doubt that Keanu Reeves would have approved of the hiring of Mel Gibson. But yeah,
and that was something I thought about too, and I'm like, and I couldn't remember if he's EPing. Like I meant to look it up, but life happened. And so maybe that's something we can add to the quick pop list to follow up, especially as we get closer to the premiere and hear more and more about the series. But I was like, I wonder how Keanu feels about this, and if he was involved in the decision at all. And because they were saying that maybe, I guess, depending on what happens in John Wick 4, is it possible that Keanu might guest star in a series, or there also been talk about doing a John Wick prequel with the different actors showing like when he was actually in that life. So I don't know, but we'll see. It's very interesting. And then there's also a female spinoff I guess, in the works, called The Ballerina. And Anna de Armas, I guess, fresh off of her kick-ass role, her 5 minutes in James Bond, is in talks to top line that series. So she was decent in James Bond. She was pretty good, but she's not my favorite actress. I don't know. But yeah.
I actually really like her because I just remember her in, oh my God, what was the movie called?
With Daniel Craig?
Yes. Oh.
The one where I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Daniel
okay,
Craig,
that one. Her basically playing one of the stars of it, and she did very well against the big names that were also in the film with her. And so I was excited when she became a Bond girl, and so I would be excited to see what she did, because the action, she did very well with the action scenes for James Bond. So if this is kind of like the same, like the female version of John Wick, I'd be excited to see where that goes.
Yeah, she did surprise me. with the action scenes in Bond and how she carried herself. She did very well. I know the movie that you're talking about, and I can't. We're both having brain farts right now, because there are going to be sequels on Netflix. Like Netflix broke the bank to go in for these sequels. But yeah, I don't know. She just hasn't been my favorite actress as of yet. But she
This
is a
movie
good
ain't about
actress,
acting though.
huh? What
This
you were
movie
like?
ain't about acting.
Yeah, let's be serious. Jane, Knives Out. That's the movie, Knives Out.
Yeah.
But yeah, John Wick movies are definitely not about acting. They're about the action and the blood and gore and the headshots. But I am on a different note, same note, different key, I guess. Am excited to see a female centric version. I'm all about giving women more opportunities to play badass action heroes. So, based on what I saw in Bond, and if it keeps the same spirit or energy as John Wick, I think it should be. I think it should be a good series, and I'm interested to see the premise and what that's all about too. So, and it's not official, but since you're getting more and more word, and they're laying names, we could probably rest assured that she'll probably be leading that. Which I'm going to leave my options open. I guess I'm not gonna make up my mind about her performance in that series, and watch if and when we do a show, I'll be like, I loved her. She was a great choice. That's just the way it goes. So speaking of movies, staying on that, you heard about the Alec Baldwin and the Rust movie tragedy?
He shot somebody.
You just sound so dry about it.
I mean, I heard about it, but like, it was unsafe on set and somebody died, and now he's like, oh, I feel so remorseful, and I reached out to the family, and I'm like, are y'all gonna change the way that y'all work these movie sets now? Cut corners. People die when you cut corners.
Yeah, it was a tragedy. It brought back, like, they talked about all the different times or the different that people have died. I did not know that they were actually still using live rounds and real weapons on movie sets. And that they weren't. I knew, and I guess I should say, I knew that they were doing. They still use blanks. So, but I thought that they were prop guns, and then I got schooled on that. Like, a prop is anything that you take on set, whether it's real or not. So having a real actual gun, functioning working gun on a set would be considered to be a prop gun, but they can retrofit some of them where they can't take live rounds and they only take blanks. And so the more you hear about this movie and the more you hear about the protocols that they had on the movie set, it really, really, really was unsafe. And the assistant director who was in charge of all that, he had been released from another movie for some similar incidences, not checking guns going off for being unsafe. And so the armorer says that when she gave him the gun, it didn't have live rounds in it. They don't know where the live rounds came from. The sheriff's deputy said the set was riddled with live rounds, and it's just like, wow. And it's just tragic. And I'm with you. They do need to change how they do it. And so people are like, well, it doesn't look the same. It doesn't sound the same. And I'm like, y'all can make us believe that you're traveling in space and make it look believable, but you can't make gunfire look and sound believable. Give me a break.
Okay, so I'm going to disagree with you on this. Because like reading through it, they have tried to do the fake gunshots and everything like that, and it just doesn't look real. And movies get criticized for the stuff that ultimately somebody catches on and knows is fake, and then they get criticized for it. I think what needs to really happen on movie sets is you need to follow all of the safety protocols that are put into place so things like this does not happen. There are hundreds of movies that are made all the time where this tragedy does not happen. And the reason why is because those movies and TV shows follow safety protocols. Now, because you decided as a movie set that you were not going to follow safety protocols when it came to your prop guns on set, now it's everybody saying, well, y'all should just get rid of them completely. I don't agree with that. I don't agree that they should be completely gotten rid of, but I do agree that they should really, really focus on following safety protocols so it does not happen. It's very, very rare that it does happen. It's a tragedy when it does. But there needs to be some type of realism. Now, the whole actual, because what I heard was that one of the bullets got lodged in the gun. They did not, like, it wasn't realized, or because it wasn't checked completely, that they didn't realize that the bullet. And so when Alec Baldwin started to fire the gun, one of the real bullet that was lodged in the gun got fired, and that's what ultimately killed I believe it was a woman on set. So yeah, I'm gonna disagree with you on that, but yeah.
Her name was Helena Hutchins, and you know, I I don't believe they used real guns in the movie Extraction with with Thor. Chris Hemsworth. I'm having a horrible name day. They didn't really use real guns with Mayor of Easttown, and they fired guns, and that looked totally believable. Like, I didn't know. So and again, we're dealing with 21st century technology. Back in the 80s, early 90s, maybe even 10 years ago, yeah, it wouldn't have looked believable. But the more technology advances, the more you can make it sound and look believable. It's not impossible to do. Just like shooting Star Wars now in 2021 is not the same way as they did it in the 1970s, you know. So I understand why it would have been something that wasn't necessarily feasible, especially for reality purposes, maybe 10, maybe even 5, 10, 15 years ago. But the more and more technology advances and movie making advances, they can find a way to make it look more believable. And also, yes, for those sets, because it's not going to be a sweeping change like that overnight. I'm not going to kid myself and say it is. But yes, for those movies that don't do this, they do need to follow all the safety protocols all the time, not half the time, not some of the time. Don't be lazy and think, or retrofit your real guns so that they only accept blanks. Blanks are still dangerous, yes, but not as dangerous or lethal as an actual live round bullet. So there are ways to go around it. Ultimately, we agree on the same thing, that they do need to make sure that they're following the safety protocols at all times and not rehire people who have a bad safety record on different sets. Like, I don't understand, if this dude was fired for not following safety protocols, for having a bad safety record, why would you rehire him on a set? But again, it was an indie set. We know the budget is less. You know, so it's just a tragedy, and it kind of brings to light that this isn't the first time that it happened. It's not the first time that someone's died like this, but that it's not the first time that sets, especially on indie movies, have not followed safety protocols, and don't necessarily follow safety protocols because they don't have the budget always to do so, or the people in place to make sure that it's done. So we will see. I guess we'll add that one to our watch and see list, or our keep popping list. I don't know. What should we call that list? To be continued?
I like watching too. Oh, to be continued is cute.
Watch and see, to be continued. So have you gotten into the new Batwoman yet?
Ha! No.
You sounded kind of jokerish there. No.
No.
No. I like it. like I said, she's made it her own. About halfway through last season, or the last third of the season, rather, it really, once they resolved the whole Kate Kane issue, and is she, isn't she, and they figure out what to do with that. Um, it really became Javisa. I can't say her name right. Javicia Leslie's show, and it's actually become pretty good, and I liked it. But I am going to admit I was one of those who was surprised when Ruby Rose left. I did like Ruby Rose in that show as the lead, but it turns out there's a whole shit ton of drama going on behind the scenes when Ruby Rose was indeed playing Batwoman.
Can I sing my song?
Yeah, go ahead.
She's a bitch. That's my song.
I was waiting for the melody and the
No, just that one sentence. That's the whole song. That's just me repeating that she's a bitch through the whole thing.
Okay. I'm having voice issues today, so I can't harmonize with that or do my attempt at beatboxing. But yeah, you start to think that, yeah, like when you first heard about it, it was like, oh, and you really only heard her one side of the story. Like, I guess she tried to play the game or tried to be nice and say, hey, I hurt my back, and whatever. And then I don't know, just randomly out of nowhere last week, I don't know, maybe she got tired of people asking her to come back to the show. I don't know what it is, but she went on this whole tirade about how everyone at the show sucked, and trying to say Do Gray Scott was sexually harassing people, called out WBTV. And it's something when they respond. And not many of the cast members had gotten back and forth, but Cameron Johnson, he plays Batwing, or Luke Fox, aka Batwing, on the show. And he basically said, yeah, he couldn't take it anymore, so he was going to break his silence. And he just said, he posed the question, do you actually know how hard it is for a lead of a show to get fired? And he was like, make no mistake about it, she got fired.
And she's a bitch.
Bitch. Ow. I want to back it up to Brick House. She's a bitch. Now.
Y'all heard that, right? Eddie is encouraging my bad behavior.
No, y'all heard that she's encouraging mine. Like, such a bad influence. Yeah. I was just like, what the, and yeah. So I guess that's
I heard there were rumors. So like, it's funny because every time like I learn something new about Hollywood, like you always tell me like, yeah, there were always rumors. Like you'd never heard of it. And I'm like, no, like I never hear about this stuff. But I did hear the rumors about her not being a nice person, of her being disrespectful, thinking she was more important than she actually was, making demands like she was like a top billing actress, and you are not. So ultimately, you coming out and saying all of this stuff about how do you say his name? Degree Scott?
Do Gray Scott.
Really? That's how you say his name?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And then you find out like there have never been rumors of, at any time on any of his other sets of him like, acting a fool or anything like that. So this is the first time that people are hearing about this, and you're coming out and saying about how, oh, he was abusive to you verbally, whatever. And yeah, it finally comes out like, no, you were the problem on the set. You were the problem. You are the problem. And because of all your nonsense, your career is dead before it began. Like, who else do we know who ended up like that?
Gosh.
Thought they were bigger than what they were, and now their career is kaput. I'm sure there's a
Misha
lot of them.
Bart,
Can't
Misha
think right now.
Barton.
Huh?
And it's hard. It's a shame that the ones that are coming to my mind are women, but they're the ones who get touted out more or put out there more than the men. But Misha Barton is one that comes to
Yeah.
mind.
So yeah. So Misha Barton. Yep. That actually a really really. That's a really really good example.
Scott Eastwood, Clint Eastwood's son.
Wait, see now, Eddie, daggone it. I did not hear that one.
Yeah, he's a little bit of a frat bro, which is kind of my way of saying a douche bro.
Well, I mean
The
that makes
rumors
sense.
are
His
out there.
dad is Clint Eastwood.
Plus not really having the greatest acting chops don't coincide with you
You are
having a
not your
shit
daddy.
attitude. um, but yeah, so and when you say it, because Orange is the New Black is where she made her name a name for herself, and that was a groundbreaking series and all of that. It was great, and when I heard she was going to be the Batwoman, I was like, oh, okay, that's a good choice. She's actually bi or lesbian. Great, they're not just giving it. It's not some performative thing. You're not casting a straight woman to play the role. Okay, cool. She was. Part is the really fucked up part about it is she was actually good in the role. Like, I enjoyed her as Kate Kane. Like, she was good in the role. But yeah, so
What she
it
doesn't understand is, I think, when you are part of a less represented group, there are standards that are set for you that does not apply to the majority, right? Which is white people. I'm just put it out there. And so even though you are a white woman, you are a lesbian. So there are certain ways that you have to act, you have to present yourself, because you know that this is a reflection of all lesbians. It's not just a reflection of her. And so, you doing all this mess thinking that you were just a regular person, really like building your career, like watch your attitude, because it's not just you that you represent. And I know there's a lot of people that don't like to take that on. I get it. But whether you want to take it on or not, it still applies.
and you
So
took it, and it again, you took it on when you agreed to play. Like, she's never been closeted about her sexuality. She's never hid or anything like that. But when you agreed to play one of the first full on gay characters or LGBTQ characters mainstream on TV, especially in the superhero genre, just by having done that, you're taking on that mantle, so to speak. You're carrying that. And so, her actions, not saying she has to be perfect. I'm not expecting perfection from anyone. We all have bad days. There are days when, I'm sure if you'd ask someone about me, they might say, oh, she's a bit, okay, cool. It may have been a bad day, but for every day to be a bad day, for you to make everyone's life on that set just hell, for your co-stars after you leave, no one can co-sign about what you're saying, to have the networks come out, and very rarely do they come out and just do people, usually it's like, oh, we'll hear from sources. No, they put their name on this shit. It wasn't any behind the scenes PR where they were trying to come back and make themselves look good, where you say, oh, there's smoke, there's fire. No, they actually themselves came out and said, bitch, who you playing with? Like, we got all the receipts. Like, we tried to give you the opportunity, kind of like the coach or whatever, when you've been fired, but they let you resign. They let you make your own statement, seeming like it was your idea to go. They let her
yeah.
do that. They let her do that at first. Oh, it was my back. I hurt my back and ongoing issues. I won't be able to play the blah blah blah. Okay, you did that. But now, especially all this time later, so it seems like to me that maybe it came out of resentment that, hey, the show didn't tank without you. After, like I said, after a few speed bumps of the first season, because it really was like rebooting the show and finding its legs. again when you have to replace an immensely popular character, because she was popular in that role, and you have to replace an immensely popular character, but you still have a story to tell, and you have to find ways to integrate it. So that first, like I said, the first half to 2/3 of the season, they were a bit bumpy, but once it found its legs and its new identity, it's been really good. So that to me seems like, because like I said, it came out of left field, just like what the fuck. So maybe it's that age old resentment, like you said, she thought she was bigger than what she was, and it's like, okay, fuck you. The show's not going to survive without me, and it has, and not only is it surviving, it seems to be thriving. Then I'm just saying that's where it seems like this came from to me. It was just that typical type thing. So, um, but like you said, she's a
bitch.
As I say, I teach you up. You don't leave me hanging on our collab.
I got you. I got you.
Thank you. Thank you. Now, speaking about coming out of left field, did you hear about Zayn and Gigi?
I did not till you mentioned it.
Yeah, I did, girl. That story, and I know normally we don't just go for the gossip, but like that shit. I'm a Zayn Malik fan. I like his music. I know you've been a fan. Well, some of his music. I know you've been a fan since.
Of him?
Well, of One Direction, him maybe kinda.
I was a fan. I was a secret fan of One Direction. I would not publicly claim them. Well, I guess I'm doing it now.
I was gonna say, I didn't mean to put your one D them out there. My bad.
Yeah,
look at me, put me on blast.
I didn't publicly claim them because I felt like they were not grown woman music. But at the same time, like I always heard that Zayn was just a bad fit for them because he wasn't willing to work with the group. So yeah, it was like hit or miss for me. Like I liked some of his music but I could take or leave him. But yes, but go ahead with the story.
Yeah, I'm with you. Like as a solo artist, I like some of his music. I think he needs to find his lane. I have an idea of where that would be, but no one's paying me for that type of advice yet, so I'm not going to give it away for free. But um, I did kind of like him and Gigi Hadid together. They made a cute couple, even though like we said, there's always rumors. Besides him being a bad fit for One Direction, there were always rumors about him being not a head case. I don't want to say that. That's kind of
an
rude.
asshole.
Yes,
Ooh,
that would be.
What are we talking about? The bitches and the assholes today. I'm so sorry,
the
y'all.
one where the bitches. Hey, that's a good title. The one where the bitches and the assholes rule the news.
Eddie, you are a headline genius.
All right. Well, we found a title for today's episode. Yay. And I usually make it up after because I'm like, what did we talk about? But I need to write that one down. Okay. So back to this. Back to this particular a-hole. So I've always heard that about him. And not to conflate the two things. Also, he's been very candid about some of his mental health issues, depression, anxiety, and all of that. So I'm not saying one leads to the other. I'm not doing that at all. But the asshole part, and I thought, oh, maybe Gigi Hadid had softened some of his edges. Like I said, I actually liked them. I thought they were a cute couple. I didn't stand them or anything. I didn't follow them, but I know, that they had a baby, and I was thinking, oh, damn, that was probably one cute kid because they are very attractive people. But anyway, yesterday, I heard that, oh, they had broken up, and I'm like, oh, wow. And then part of it, then that he might be charged or something they broke up after an argument he had with her mother. And I'm like, oh, that's sad. Then the next thing I know, I send it because I added it to the news list. And I'm like, okay. And then the next thing I know, I think I sent you that. And then I sent it like back to back. I'm like, damn, he's already been charged and copped a plea.
Yeah.
Because when I was doing more research, it was like when I was like, oh, he might be charged. He said, family private matters should remain private. He was adamantly denying that there was an argument. Then came out that, oh, he may have struck her. But within a series of hours, this this one story had escalated from 0 to like 100 real quick. So it went from they broke up because of an argument that he had with her mother, to him striking her mother, to him denying any of that, or saying he basically kind of confirmed the breakup, just saying that private family issues should remain private. And then from that to him, to the possibility of them considering pressing charges, to that motherfucker's already copped a plea, out on bail, been assigned probation. He pled guilty to one, and I think it was stalking and harassment or something like that. So he pled guilty to one case, and then he copped a no contest plea to the others. And I think he's on like a year probation. And if he completes anger management, domestic violence courses, and stays away from her mother, then within 6 months his probation will be adjudicated. Basically, meaning that he'll just have to do the 6 months probation. So, yeah, I'm like, what? So I'm thinking they had probably already broken up, and he went back to the house for something and got into a fight with her mom. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a lot, huh?
That I was just about to say, that is a lot, and like I don't have an opinion. I just hope that she's okay, her mom's okay, and that
The kid's okay.
you know, once they raise their hands, like it's a wrap, like it's done. So you know, yeah, like you got a kid with him, so you're probably gonna have to deal with him for the rest of your life. But other than that, you don't have to be with him.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, once you start putting hands, like, they, yeah. So it is a lot, and I'm with you. I just hope for everyone's safety, and that she makes some smart choices about the future of that relationship. And like you say, my advice would be find a way to co-parent, but yeah, y'all don't have to be together. So, speaking of music, segueing, the American Music Award nominations are out.
Woo!
Yay!
Sorry.
Yay. Um, so the weekend, the AMAs did not make the same mistake that the Grammys made.
Ooh, that's a dig.
My bad, my bad. But they did. The Weeknd and Olivia Rodrigo were the top noms, for this year's AMAs. Did you get a chance to look at them, to check out the nominations?
Not the whole. I just focused on one. But question.
Hmm?
Do you find Olivia Rodrigo's voice to be a little annoying, or is it just me? Is it just me?
It depends on the song. I actually find her to be a little annoying, but on the same token, I actually kind of like her music. So I have to, if that answers the question, I have to be in the mood to listen to it. I did like the song "Driver's License." I did like some of her other songs, mostly the ones that made radio play. They're the best songs on her album. Like, I did not enjoy her album as a whole, like most people did. There were songs that I could take or leave, and most of the time I left them. But yeah, it gets to be a bit much after a while.
Okay, I just want to put that out there. Like, not to say it, because I'm also like you. Like, there are some songs that I do like, and then sometimes I get so annoyed I can't listen to her for a while. So yeah, but
Yeah.
you know, she's driven by, you know, the generation of today. So you know,
Yeah. And but I'm not hating on her success. I love her success. I love that she went from being a Disney star, did it her own way. She used that the High School Musical, the musical show, to launch her career. Her busted relationship with her co-star, and she wrote some hella music. Like, and I guess maybe I would say
wait,
early.
hold the phone. Who is she?
Have you seen the show, The High School Musical, the musical on Disney?
Yeah, like 3
Disney Plus.
episodes, and then I got sick of it and turned it off. But
She
was
was
she
the
like the
lead.
main lead? Was she the lead?
Yeah, she's the main lead.
Oh shit!
And then
I didn't know that.
the dude who plays the main lead, her main lead co-star, like in the show,
Mm-hmm.
they were together, and then they broke
What?
up. He cheated on her with Sabrina Carpenter, girl. I'm just giving you all the tea. And so the whole album is written about him. Like that. This is,
Oh
so
my gosh, she did an Adele?
Anna Taylor, because you know Taylor Swift is
Oh
the
yeah,
queen
yeah,
of that
yeah.
shit.
You right. And Adele, Anna Taylor. You right.
Yeah. So
Oh
yeah.
shit. Good. You know what? I take back my previous statement. You go ahead, Olivia.
Yeah. So
Get yours.
I give her props. She's a hell of a songwriter. And you know, for this to be her first album, it wasn't horrible. I just didn't jump on the, oh, it's the greatest thing I've ever heard bandwagon. Like I
Because it's
said,
not.
yeah, it's not, but there are some good songs on there, and you know, so it's like, oh, okay, I get you. So I look forward to seeing, you know, as she matures, where her career goes and where it takes her and stuff like that. So, you know, and plus getting out of that Disney shell that they like to try to put you in. They're young stars, you know. Yeah, because ooh, we ought to do a behind the scenes on what Disney was like, because that shit was toxic. But anyway, even though I love the fuck out of Mickey Mouse. Um, so I know you're excited about Artist of the Year and our boys, BTS. Bangtan Soyeon. I haven't said it in a while, and I know you
You
hate the
really
way I say
haven't. I was waiting for it.
it. BTS. They're up for Artist of the Year, which is great. Also, but this one is a tough category. Like Ariana Grande,
I mean, they're not
BTS,
gonna win, but it's great to be
Drake,
nominated.
Olivia Rodrigo, Taylor Swift, and The Weeknd. Yeah, that's a tough one. That is a tough one. Um,
Look, they're not gonna win, but like they always say, it's great to be nominated.
all right. Do you think they would win for what else are they up for? Is that it?
Pop duo that they've
Pop,
won for the last 2 years. Yes.
okay, that one, yeah. Ooh, I think Silk Sonic might be their competition in that one. We'll see.
I doubt it.
And favorite pop song? There's some good ones. Ooh, they might give it to Driver's License, but I love Butter. Like it just gets me every time. Smooth like butter. Okay, you knew it was coming.
I did.
You,
That's why
you
I paused.
oh, okay. Ah, look at
Um,
you giving me my segue.
I know, right? I'm moving. Yes, I'm growing. I'm growing. Um, yeah, no, I'm actually really, really excited. First Asian artist to ever be nominated for Artist of the Year. So once again, breaking those glass ceilings, baby. But yeah, like it's really, really good. And then like to say they put in their submission for the Grammys once again with Butter, which I'll be honest, I feel like Butter has a better chance than Dynamite did. Is it just me who
Um,
feels that?
no, I did too. I think Butter is. I think it was. I'm not gonna say it was a better song. It was a different song, but it was more popular than Dynamite. I think everyone was thinking Dynamite was just that anomaly, like, oh, okay, you know. And
And then they did
then
it again.
yeah, and then Butter proved like, oh, because like company, which they're leaving their record company, Columbia, and they're going to Universal Music. They were with the Sony wing of Columbia, I believe, so they're moving to go to Universal Music. But even Columbia did more to pub Butter than they did to pub Dynamite. And so, you know, as far as getting it airplay and all of that kind of stuff. So I'm
Well, that's because
thinking,
they had to prove themselves.
yeah. And so but I agree. I think I'm thinking, I'm hoping um, that it does stand a better chance, because even quite honestly, last year against the competition that it was up against, and given that it was a COVID year, we know there wasn't a lot of, just, I'm not going to say great music, but we know there wasn't a lot of music just put forth. It was one of the better songs in that category that they were nominated for. So you know, again, Taylor Swift performed as a tree at the Grammy, so that kind of tells you what type of year it was. I'm just saying, and I know that tree dress cost a hell of a lot of money, but it was an ugly ass dress. um, but yeah, so we'll see. But just looking at this year's AMAs, it's some pretty good competition. Giveon is up against Artist of the Year. He's a new Artist of the Year. I love Giveon, but he's up against Olivia Rodrigo and the Kid Laroi. Ooh, and Masked Wolf is up for new Artist of the Year. I know you like him.
I do like him.
Yeah, so Like I
Astronaut is
said,
like one of my favorite songs ever. It's going on my top 10 list this year.
oh wow. Yeah, that's a plug. Stay tuned. We got the top 10 coming up, rounding out the year episodes and stuff. Yeah, so I'm looking forward. I don't know if I'm gonna watch the AMAs. I'm with you. I'm kind of over award shows and all that kind of stuff. But we'll see. I'll probably just go back and watch the performances, or per usual, it'll probably be on mute. And when someone be like, oh, and I might send you the text like, hey, turn on the TV real quick. But then you'll be like, I'll catch it on YouTube.
Yes, as always.
As
As
always.
always.
And also, I know there was, speaking of music, staying on the music tip before we wrap this up. What's up with your girl Giselle from ESPA?
Mouthing words that she shouldn't be mouthing as a and you know she's American, or she was raised in America, which makes it even worse because that means you do know.
So she
Oh, you ain't know
knows
that
better.
part?
No, I
Huh?
didn't know that part. I didn't know that
she
part.
was she's American, or she was raised in America. She speaks English. She's one of the English speakers of the group. So that means that you knew it was wrong to mouth that word. But what really pissed me off was, it's not necessarily, well, I am mad at the fact that she mouthed the word, but she got closer to the camera when she did it.
Like, look,
Like, in
bitches,
your
look what I'm
face.
about to say. And
but she was dragged for it, and she did apologize. It sounded genuine, her apology. So I'll take it. I'm sure she'll never do it again. But remember how, okay, so I've been talking to you about this for a while, right? On what Korea is going to learn is the negative of taking full advantage of the popularity of BTS and opening up your culture to Western influence, which has not been the case for years, has never, not been the case at all, as want to dominate around the world. But we are starting to see the full negative aspects of your culture, and you are being called out for all those negative aspects. And so one of those is the fact of their K-pop is huge on cultural appropriation as well as racism. And so now they have to figure out how to resolve these issues, because they're becoming a big thing, and you're getting called out every single time by your international fans every time that you do it. When before, there wasn't enough people that paid attention that you could get called out where you have to apologize every single time. So, and that's across the board in the whole celebrity culture within Korea. So
yeah, and it's
negative of
becoming,
BTS being as big as they are.
and it's a what do they say? It's the blessing is a curse. Heavy is the head that wears the crown. Look at me quoting, just trying to be all philosophical today. But you're right, and we have talked about before, because as shows, as K dramas going to become more, in Squid Game dominating the world, it surpassed the 3 billion club, 3 billion club for Netflix streams. It's bigger than Bridgerton as far as list viewers. It's second week on the Nielsen's. They're even already talking about Emmy nominations for it and all this stuff. So as your entertainment, pop culture and entertainment arms become more popular, people are going to start paying closer attention, especially as these multinational corporations, like Facebook, Apple is even getting into the K drama game now. They're first K drama. And I'm sure Jeff Bezos, not one to be left out. I'm sure Amazon is about to try to hop on that train too. So as you have all of these corporations, especially media entities, that are coming into your culture, wanting to showcase your culture, and the world is starting to take a peek in. Yeah, the shit that you kind of were able to cover up when it was just in country is not going to be in country anymore. And you've got to be able to find a way to deal with it. Like, and the ways you've always dealt with it, they're no longer going to work. Like, it's just not. So it's like you got to be careful in the way you kind of open Pandora's box. And also, another conversation we had, the more and more people listen to hip hop and they hear the word, I think it's desanitized it for a lot of people who aren't Black. But every culture has that word, that is okay within the culture, the way you use it culturally. And we as Black people, we have our own history with that word. We have our own feelings about how to use it, when to use it, if we should use it, the difference between Nigga and Nigger and all of that kind of stuff. But it's our word. And when others use the word, regardless of how we use it within our own community and how we feel about it, we get very protective, like, whoa, slow your roll. Nah. I had to tell someone the other day, that ain't for you. I know where you got it from, but that ain't for you, you know? So it's just like, ugh. But yeah,
And
she
it's
knows
not,
better.
but like, and what I say is this kind of opens the door, because it's not just the N word, but cultural appropriation is a huge deal. And they've never had to deal with cultural appropriation in their music videos, in how they present their groups that come out, even in their hip hop culture. Cultural appropriation is a huge deal within their hip hop culture as well, because hip hop is based off of Black culture in America. But then it goes towards like their celebrities, just across the board, the shit that you used to be able to get away with because everything just stayed within Asia, but now it's all over the world. Yeah, you can't do the same shit because we gonna call you out. We don't even take it from our own celebrities and everything like that. Like women's rights and the beauty standards that they have, the unhealthy beauty standards that they have, the unbalance of the power dynamics within their relationships. It is crazy. And I'm like, and they're getting called out for all of that. And I'm just like, yes, enjoy the fact that BTS is as huge and they're opening the doors for so many of your celebrities and your stars and your musical artists. That is fantastic and great.
And the crossover game, but
Yeah,
with
it's amazing, but at the same time, that means that y'all need to reevaluate your culture, because I'll be honest, it's too conservative for what you want to bring to the Western world. You're not, and it's not just you just being conservative. You're back in the day, like you rocking this 40s, 50s, and 60s standards when we in 2021, and
yeah,
that's not gonna fly.
like the whole no tattoos, and we talked about this before, and the lady, and it's like, okay, but let him do it his way. Like, he is now slowly but surely showing off his tattoos more and more. The piercings that he has, which is like, okay. And like you say, the hip hop culture, I love K R&B and K hip hop. Some of it is better than the bullshit we're putting out over here. But again, you do watch it, because the first time I saw Bobby and Why You Mad, I'm like, I'm mad because you got a grill and you got them braids in your hair like that, boy. Like, it's a great song, but performance kind of took away a little bit from me. Like, you can still be who you are. You can, it took away for a little bit, because it's like, I don't necessarily want to see you emulating that part of it. Like, the music is great alone. Be who you are.
Okay, now
So
granted, for Bobby, that actually is who he is, because he grew up
I
in
get it.
Virginia.
Like, and before I knew that about Bobby, like
I know.
before I knew that Bobby was probably Caucasian, before I knew Bobby had that
Bobby's
full
a little
time,
Blasian. Like we gonna take him. We'll take
yeah.
Bobby.
Before I knew Bobby had that universal invitation to the cookout, it was like, oh. But once I knew who Bobby was, and I'm like, oh, that makes perfect sense. I was like, yeah, never mind. But I just know, when I first heard the song and I didn't know necessarily who he was, I was like, yeah, that's doing way too much. But so, I guess it's the growing pains that comes with it. Great responsibility and all of that kind of stuff. So we'll see how this continues to shape out, and how they continue to deal with the growing pains of this new worldwide popularity, and all of that. So, do you have anything else? Any other kernels at the bottom of that bag you want to get out
I
before
got
we
3
end it?
musical mentions. Can I do my mentions?
Sure, of course.
So first, super, super excited about GOT7 Mark coming out with his new single.
Yes,
Really, really
so
excited,
excited.
because I feel like it makes us closer to them coming together for next year and doing a full album, and the amount of like things they're going to be able to, they can hold a concert and really do amazing things with a concert scene, is how everybody's kind of in their own lane. So I'm really, really excited about that. 17's new album, I love it. Way better than the last one.
Yes, I can co-sign on that.
Yeah, like I've listened to it a couple times, and every time like I just find another song that I really, really like that I got to add to my playlist. So I'm very, very happy with what they put out this time.
And
then
hold on. Before you go, one thing that was in the news yesterday, 17. Speaking of 17, they announced this super immersive online concert. So stay tuned for updates on that. And I can't remember the date, but it's supposed to be a big deal. So I am actually kind of looking forward to that. I was like, I've seen a BTS concert, so I might just have to, plop down for 17. I think that would be interesting.
Okay, so is it Syncrecy with their choreography is amazing. And I just love 17 just because they're self-produced. They have a hand in every part of what they put out there, in their choreography, their music, their style. So I'm definitely excited about that concert, because just imagine, like, I'm sure they'll have a full hand in that as well, because that's the one thing, even as they went under the Big Hit label, Big Hit did not like put their hand in what has made 17 successful, and I'm really, really happy about that. They didn't try to like turn them into like BTS Junior or anything like that. They just let them be.
If it ain't broke, just fix it. If it ain't broke, don't fix
it. You're right. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And 17 is not broke. Like, they are continuing to put out really good music and continuing to be as successful as they've been. So really, really happy about that. And then last thing is, Ed Sheeran came out with Equal.
Did we feel the same way about it?
Well, I'm guessing you didn't like it, Eddie.
It was not. As a huge Ed Sheeran fan, I'd heard the rumors that it was not his best, and
he's too in love.
It's not even that he's too in love. It just, you know what? And I listened to it several times, and I was like, it suffered the cardinal sin. And in entertainment, what is the cardinal sin? Above being bad, it is being what? The other B word that no one wants to hear.
I don't know. What is it?
Boring.
What? Okay. Like the telenovelas.
What did you think about it? Did you?
I
was excited, but I was.
It's a very, very, very acquired taste. Now, I love Bad Habits. Bad Habits. But I was not a fan of Shivers. Is it Shivers?
Yeah, I liked Shivers. Bad Habits was Bad Habits gave me hope. Like, I was like, yes.
I like Bad Habits. I played over and over again. Because I really had high hope based on the fact that I loved Bad Habits. I played it on repeat. I got excited every time I heard the song come on from my playlist. Hearing it was lukewarm. Like, some of my excitement depleted after listening to the album. I'm not going to say, it's horrible, because it's Ed Sheeran and it's better than a lot of people that's putting out trash nowadays. But, and I know you said, like, it's not the fact that he's in love, but I feel it. It was too many love songs. It wasn't no fuck you songs. Okay.
Well, some of his best hits, like Photograph, have been love songs. So it wasn't even that. It's for me.
Yeah, but those aren't my favorites from him. My favorites are his fuck you songs.
Oh, okay.
The ones that people know, but he never put out. Because when I went to his concert, that shows how big of a fan I am. I've been to an Ed Sheeran concert. Absolutely phenomenal. when I went to his concert, like people were more excited about, I guess, his B-sides is what we would call them, than his main hits. So yeah, but
which is true. His B sides are amazing, and
yeah,
it's like because one of the best. Oh my God, him in the weekend, the Dark Times. Oh, I love that song. Like love it, and I they've never performed it together, and I'm just like, oh my God. But yeah, so, and I'm with you, I'm a huge Ed Sheeran fan, huge. I was so excited, especially from Bad Habits, and I even liked Shivers, not as much as I liked Bad Habits, but I liked it. And then when I listened to it, and I listened to it several times, I listened to it back to back, and then I turned it off and I went and I listened to it again later, and I'm with you. It was lukewarm. I'm like, oh, okay. Like it was boring. It was something I could put on in the background, and not one song would make me stop and go, "Ooh, what's this song?" Like I got to know this song, you know. And so, yeah, it equals was not his best. So
yeah. I mean, everybody has to go through a slump, um, but
it's not.
overall, I'll take equal over some of this other stuff that's being put out. I'll be honest.
I,
Um, I'm not satisfied with the music scene nowadays. I guess that's why
mm,
I'm still so fully engrossed in my K-pop.
yeah. And I'm looking forward to seeing what Warner Brothers is going to do, another name than Asiatic music or whatever for their Asian imprint, which is going
You
to
mean
be,
do for BTS?
huh?
You mean do for BTS?
No, Warner Brothers. They're creating
Oh, right.
a new
But
Asian
it's
arm. It's
but
called
you said it was
Asiatic.
Asian hip hop, right? Or
Yeah,
is it?
Asian. It's going to focus on Asian hip hop and R&B, but they still need to find another name besides Asiatic music or something, whatever they call it. That's kind of like really. That's what imprint. Okay, so we'll see how it goes. They're probably going to try to give Jay Park a run for his money as the king of K R&B and hip hop, and signees, because he has them all in his roster. But you should check out Hoodie. I did enjoy her EP, which dropped yesterday.
Okay,
So
I did see it. I did see.
it's a
It dropped.
palate cleanser.
It actually dropped on Tuesday, but
Oh my bad, I
it
just saw it yesterday.
but it doesn't. They don't do it on the Spotify list until Fridays.
Friday, yeah.
But yeah. So I did see that. So I do have to listen to Hoodie because I really do like her. She's
It's
one
a
of my
palate
favorite
cleanser
artists.
for Ed
Huh?
Sheeran. It was a palate cleanser.
Ooh, okay, that's good to know. Good to know.
Yeah.
Especially since like you're more music savvy than I am, so I can trust that. What you say? Like I think it's like only like really one album where I was just like, nah, we're gonna disagree on that, but we've been
Yeah.
on the same
So
page for the rest of them.
all right. Well, stay tuned because in November we got some good ones. Adele. Yes.
Oh,
Adele
she
is
coming on a
coming
full
out.
CD now.
Yeah.
Well, of course she
Uh,
is, but I didn't know the
Silk
release date was put out there.
Silk Sonic. Yeah, she's coming out. Gosh, it's relatively soon. I have to check the date. Probably by the time we do our next episode, we might be talking about Adele's album because I know that will make a list. Silk Sonic is coming out. They pushed their release date up from 2022 to November. So they'll be out in November. And there was one other big one. I know you're not a big fan, but Taylor Swift is re-releasing her Red version, her version of Red, Taylor's version, and that was probably one of her better CDs. I think I loved it. That was
Um.
for those of you who keep it count. That's the Jake Gyllenhaal CD.
Ooh, damn.
If you're going by X's, that's the Gyllenhaal CD.
Mm-hmm. Because that's how you gotta judge it. Adele is coming out November.
Uh, okay. So, all right. Well, so maybe not this next episode, but the next one. So the next two episodes, we'll have a full Adele conversation. I cannot wait. I'm so excited. And Go Easy has been blowing
So
up
very
all the
excited.
charts.
I'm hoping we're
Easy on
not
Me has been,
disappointed.
I don't think we will. Easy on Me has been blowing up all of the charts. So we'll see. I know you liked it because it was Adele, but you weren't just blown away by it. But we'll see. All right. Well, that does it for this week's episode or this episode of The Rewind. Please be sure to listen, like, follow, and comment on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and or Spotify Podcasts. You can also keep up to date on the latest in entertainment and pop culture news, as well as other amazing kernels of pop culture goodness at the wind down at the popcornwinddown.com. That's it. That's the plug. Pop, pop, pop. You know what? One quick one. I had gotten a sound machine. I got a sound card and I was looking forward to hooking it all up. And then I hooked it up and it can't even work. So I'm still working on that popcorn sound
Are
effect.
you
And
serious?
just
Did you really?
yes.
Okay,
So I got
cool.
to send it back and get another one. So we'll see what happens, since I have to take you to court still, but that's okay. In the meantime, I'm gonna do it for myself now. All right. But anyway, thank you as always. And until next time, I'm Eddie.
And I'm Tammy. Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween. Peace out.
Bye.